Update. My sister wants to use a burial plot that she doesn't own. Original post. My sister, 57 female, and I, 63 male, are estranged for many reasons. She was the golden child. I was given a 63 Chevy pickup when I got my driver's license, while she got a Mustang convertible. I went to college and ended up with student debt. She did drugs, had children out of wedlock, and got a mobile home, which she eventually lost due to her drug use. She had 2 wonderful kids who we were able to get removed from her custody, and they are doing well now. Our father raised them. My father and mother divorced in the late 1970s, partly due to the stress caused by my sister. My mother tried to help her over the years, letting her live with her, helping her find jobs, but my sister always relapsed. Now to the present situation. My father passed away 4 years ago, and I bought him a nice burial plot in Bozeman, Montana. The plot is in my name. It is located in a beautiful spot in the veteran section. My mother passed away last summer. I was at the hospital when she died, but my sister was nowhere to be found. My mom and I were able to reconnect without her interference. My mom's will stated that my sister and I were to inherit the house jointly, but somehow my sister got her name on the deed through right of survivorship, which meant she got the house. She tried to get me to help pay the remaining mortgage, but I refused, so she had to sell the house, and I bought it. She was furious and took my mom's remains, disappearing so we couldn't hold a proper ceremony. Now, 6 months later, she has reappeared claiming that she's paying for a burial. But here's the catch. My mother was a veteran, so a veteran group is covering the room about $500, and the VA is providing the headstone. Then I get a call from the funeral home asking if they should bury her with my dad, someone she divorced 50 years ago. What do I do here? Now for the top advice before reading the updates. No, I'm so sorry for your loss. Now that you have nothing tying you to your sister, it's time to go no contact. I need to make it clear, I haven't talked to her directly in years. Only through lawyers and indirectly via my mother when she was alive. She knows better than to talk to me. The last time she contacted me, she claimed mom needed money for an oxygen concentrator. I was dumb and sent it. A few days later, she was arrested for an overdose. That ended that. In addition to the headstone, mom might also be eligible for burial at a U.S. veteran cemetery for free. Locate her DD-214 if you haven't already made other burial plans. We told her she could be buried for free at a national cemetery. My guess is she loves the plot I snagged for my dad, and I admit it is nice. Mini update. I am going to clarify a few things. 1. My parents' divorce was finalized in 1983, but they had been separated around 1978. 2. Was she really a terror as a kid? Yes, she started using drugs at 10 and sneaking boys into the house at 13 when I was away at college, 1978 to 1983. I was out of state during this time. My father was a retired Navy officer and there was a recession. My mom worked, but it was a struggle. I got through college on student loans, scholarships, and part-time jobs. 3. My parents tried treatment and even tried buying her good behavior. My brother basically gave up and joined the army. He was part of the 101st Airborne Division. So not all of us turned out poorly. For some update, I spoke to the funeral home today. It seems that my sister's plan was to place my mom's remains in the veteran wall at the cemetery. However, Bozeman Cemetery is not part of the National Cemetery System. Normally, a wall interment would be free for a veteran, but since Bozeman isn't part of the system, it costs $500. So she pointed to my dad's plot and said, bury her there. The funeral home called me when they realized the plot wasn't owned by her or my dad. And now, here we are. I'm trying to see if we can get the wall slot again. For now, my mom's remains are back at the funeral home. Now for the full updates. First update. After doing some research, I offered to pay to inter my mother in the veteran wall. My sister threw a fit, not directly to me as we don't talk, but through the funeral home. She let them know she wouldn't return the remains. I would have to buy a new plot, but I just bought a house and I'm in the process of furnishing it. So money is tight. She knew that. She is mad I bought my mom's house. She has driven by it several times. I'm about to put it on the short-term rental market. After talking to my family, the grandchildren, and others, I've thrown in the towel. We are burying Mom in Dad's plot. She will have an in-ground brass marker. It kills me that my sister has reduced my mom's service to a brass welcome mat at my father's headstone. My family says they'll know the truth, but damn, it still hurts. You are a family member. You can have her moved once it's done. I was going to suggest the same thing, and the entitled witch can go F herself. But don't tell anyone, just quietly do it. Just dig her up and put her somewhere else once this has settled down. Your father will thank you. Good thought. Don't get caught though, it's actually desecration of a grave. If you want to do it legally, wait until you can afford to have the cemetery disinter her and reinter her where you wanted originally. Although my mother was a fan of horror movies, I think she'd find it funny to imagine me digging up her urn to spread her ashes. Side note, her father, after retiring from the Navy, worked as a gravedigger. My mom told me she used to bring him lunch while tending the cemetery. They lived near it, so she would explore it at night. Her sister even became a mortician for women in the late 1950s and early 1960s. They weren't allowed to prepare male bodies back then. Wait until your sister is busy elsewhere and move your mom with the help of the cemetery. Leave the marker just so you can laugh when she goes to visit. Second update. Today is the day of the burial. I was going to update afterward just to say we got it done, but the last 20 hours has been wild. My sister canceled the room at the funeral home and made it a graveside service only. She got a refund for the room. The reason she gave? They're shooting guns for the salute, so it should be outside. I found it when the funeral home called last night to ask me to pick up the urn and take it to the grave. My sister is in a wheelchair and cannot come graveside. I sent a message to the family group chat and her son, the only one who talks to her, exploded, as did her daughter. He called her and she cried. The honest answer is probably that she needed drug money and her disability check is still days away. I arranged to get a table at a military-themed restaurant in Bozeman. If you're from the area, you know the one, and we'll gather there to tell stories. Just a few minutes ago, I got a call from the funeral home offering a room at a discount, but we're sticking with our plans. As far as this funeral goes, my mother would have been buried in her home state of Pennsylvania near her family if my sister hadn't raked her remains and disappeared in September. You may want to check ownership of that plot. If she's anything like my sibling, she may have sold it from under the family. My sibling trashed all the living trust information our parents had set up. I tried to get them to change it years ago, but they didn't. Now they're stuck, and I can't help them, or myself. This all started when my sister sent out a message that she paid for the funeral for Mom, who died in September. She took the remains while her daughter and I were planning the funeral. I got a call from the funeral home, the same one that buried my dad 4 years ago, that she told them to bury her in the same plot. My parents have been divorced since 1983. She found out it would cost her to bury Mom in the veteran wall in Bozeman because it hasn't received VA approval yet. I bought that plot for my dad. Could you possibly move your mom later? We've had issues like this in our home country, where they disturbed my aunt's remains to put someone unrelated to us there, despite everyone's opposition. It was wild, but it's done. If your parents were divorced, why would they be buried together? I'd only do that if I personally wanted to be close to both of them. I'm sorry for your losses, and I'm sorry your sister is so troubled. I hope she can find a way out and get mental health assistance. That is what we are thinking of doing this summer. Now for the last update. The service was Thursday at 1 p.m. The American Legion Gallatin Valley Post 14 performed the final salute with a rifle volley and taps. The Navy sent an officer and an enlisted member to present the flag. I shared some words about my mom's service and her life for those who attended, though being in a snow-covered field limited attendance. Afterward, we met at a restaurant to share stories. The grandkids were really curious about what kind of mother she was, and were surprised when we told them she used to ride a motorcycle to work. Now, I'm sure you're wondering what happened with my sister. When I arrived at the funeral home, I was shocked to see how little she had arranged. I personally drove my mom's remains to the gravesite, and my brother was the one who actually placed them in the ground. At my dad's funeral, we had arranged for a hearse to take his remains to the cemetery. This time, it was a bit funny. My wife, my brother, my mom's aunt, and I took a quick drive down Main Street in Bozeman to say goodbye before heading to the cemetery. While the ceremony was going on, an SUV pulled up. It was my sister, watching from the road. I had arranged for the flag to go to my brother's since I already had my dad's flag. I could see my sister shouting as the flag was presented to him. After the ceremony, we each said something over the grave and headed to our cars. My sister called her son over and handed him 2 bags containing vials of mom's ashes for him and my niece. At the restaurant, they gave the vials to me and my brother. They're great kids. My sister then drove by yelling at me for ruining the ceremony or something and then sped off. So that's it for now. This summer, we'll decide whether to move mom to Pennsylvania to be with her family, bury her in a national cemetery, or scatter her ashes. My brother is looking into the logistics. I would like to address some comments made. 1. Why am I short-term renting the house? My initial plan was to use it as a long-term rental until my wife and I retired in 2 to 3 years. However, my son, while working on the house, fell in love with Montana and wants to move there by the end of the summer. So we're short-term renting until then. I've met with some neighbors and given them my contact information in case any renters get out of hand. The house is near ski and outdoor adventure activities, so I don't foresee any issues. 2. Do I blame my sister for her early struggles? I don't blame my 10 or 13 years old sister for becoming addicted to drugs and alcohol. I blame my parents for moving to a drug-rich area, the government for failing to address the drug crisis, and the medical establishment for not recognizing addiction as a disease at a time. My parents paid a price with their marriage and a retirement they never got to enjoy. However, I do blame my sister as an adult for squandering multiple opportunities to get her life together. She was given a car, repossessed, a mobile home, lost because she spent welfare money on drugs instead of space rent, and a truck, a partially restored 1963 Chevy C10, which she sold for drug money. She also lost custody of her 2 kids, who have since turned out well. 3. Why didn't I take her kids? I tried, but in California they fight to keep kids with a bad mother. My wife and I would buy groceries and take them to the kids, and I took them to the dentist. But we were limited in what we could do. My sister knew that giving up her kids would mean losing a bargaining chip. It took a covert operation to get the kids to Montana and in front of a judge who finally saved them. It's funny, odd, not laughable, because I see this with my friends who were not the golden child. I get why they're angry, but damn, guess who grows up into a happy, healthy person? Certainly not the golden child. I know 2 men who had to pay for everything while their siblings got everything handed to them just because they asked. Not just a car, college education, or house. Nope, the best of everything, even if the parents went into debt or had to do without. I try to tell them, yeah, but look at what you've accomplished. The non-golden child always has a house, a reliable car, and if they want a family, they usually have one and are happily married. Meanwhile, the golden child, now in their 30s or 40s, often has scattered entry jobs that don't last a year, major debt, and lost custody of their kids. Being the golden child is a curse. I feel the same way. My husband's younger brother was the golden child. Out of 4 kids, guess who's the only one who didn't finish college, isn't married, has drifted in and out of employment, and smokes way too much weed. My husband says he's lucky he wasn't the golden child because it ruined his brother's life. Last story. Kicked out my girlfriend's pregnant sister who is in a bad situation. My girlfriend, 33 female, and I, 35 male, have been dating for about 2 years, but we've been friends since college. For my 30th birthday, I had a rather large party. She brought her sister, now 27 female. Also at the party was my little brother's best friend, now 29 male, who I basically view as my little brother. They hit it off that night and started dating soon afterward. They even quarantined together during the COVID shutdowns. Fast forward almost 3 years and my girlfriend and I started dating. A few months into our relationship, my little brother's best friend discovered that my girlfriend's sister was cheating on him with a significantly older guy. He broke up with her, moved out, and moved in with me for a time. My girlfriend's sister ended up moving in with the older guy, who lives about 2 hours away. At that time, my girlfriend and I talked. I told her that I understood if she wanted to maintain a line of communication with her sister, but that her sister was effectively dead to me. I didn't want to interact with her, talk to her, or have any engagement with her. I also said I wouldn't lift a finger to help her sister in any way and ask her not to involve me. I had previously helped her sister get her job. My girlfriend said she understood and would respect my boundary. About 4 months ago, my girlfriend's job went back to in-office, but the company is based out of state. She took a severance package and left the company. She asked if she could stay with me to save on rent until she found a new job, and I agreed. Last week, I had to go out of town for 4 days for work. When I came home, I found my girlfriend's sister staying at my house. Apparently, she had shown up in the middle of the night, distraught. Her boyfriend had been drinking, became belligerent, and threatened her, so she left. She's 7 months pregnant. I told her she had 3 hours to get out of my house before I called the police. The sister left. My girlfriend is angry. I told her that she knew my boundary, disrespected it, and didn't even call me to get my permission before letting her sister stay. This kind of situation requires 2 yes votes. I told her I would never disrespect her like that, even though it's my house that I bought and pay for. As you can imagine, this has caused an ongoing fight. Now for the top advice. Seems really convenient that it was when you happened to be out of town. I mean, it could be a coincidence, but what are the odds? My money's on them waiting until he was gone being the case. Girlfriend probably thought he wouldn't throw sister out. She was wrong. She thought she could guilt him into it once sis was already there. Big mistake. Girlfriend will be lucky if she doesn't end up looking for somewhere to sleep with sis tomorrow night. It sounds like you need to kick out your girlfriend too. 100% agree. If she's willing to disrespect your boundaries like that, it's not just her sister causing issues. It's also her. At the very least, there should have been a serious conversation before letting her sister move in. Both partners should respect each other's pace and rules. She already knew his rules and chose to disrespect them. You need to move your girlfriend out too. She took severance, so she should have money to get a place for herself and her sister.